Paddy Pimblett showed tonight that he is the real deal. Beating Michael Chandler and beating him the way that he did, I don't know how you can doubt the kid anymore. Tonight was a pretty big name opponent too. But yeah, he's in that spot now where he's going to be fighting top guys. Yeah.
Dana White hints at big fights for Paddy Pimblett as he emerged victorious at UFC 314, securing a major win over seasoned contender Michael Chandler in what many considered the biggest test of his career. Despite the magnitude of the victory, Pimblett was quick to minimize the significance of the moment, showing little interest in the hype that followed. His post-fight demeanor remained grounded as he brushed aside any notion of an upset or breakthrough, suggesting that the outcome had never been in doubt from his perspective.
No, I always said this was going to happen. You know what I mean, Brett? I always said this was in my future. People laughed at me when I first said it and said I ain't going to do it. I can remember getting laughed at and said I'll never be ranked. Then it was I'll never be in the top 10. Now I'm going to be ranked 7 on Monday. And then I'm coming for the top 5 and then the title.
Nonetheless, former champion Daniel Cormier offered high praise for Paddy Pimblett's performance, emphasizing that the bout marked a crucial milestone in Pimblett's flourishing career. Cormier acknowledged the match's significance, while underlining that it was, in many respects, less of an uphill battle than anticipated, as Pimblett decisively outclassed Michael Chandler.
We thought it was going to be King Green. He submits him in a round after hurting him with a punch. Tonight was supposed to be the night that he would have the toughest challenge of his career in Michael Chandler. Not only was it not the toughest challenge of his career, I would say it was his best performance and his most convincing win in the UFC. So many people hold on to the Jared Gordon fight and say, well, if Jared Gordon can fight him in the way that he did, I know I can beat Paddy Pimblett. But he keeps improving. He's big for the weight class. He has super high-level grappling.
Adding to the growing buzz around his rising star, Daniel noted that Paddy Pimblett is now consistently pressuring his opponents, a tactical shift that has further elevated his presence in the division. Cormier emphasized that as Pimblett's confidence continues to soar, he is carving out a reputation as one of the sport's most dangerous competitors.
But Conor McGregor looked like a finished product. Paddy Pimblett at times hangs his chin up in the air when he throws punches. Paddy Pimblett may back up and throw at the same time. Paddy Pimblett doesn't look like he is as refined as Conor McGregor was, so he may not seem as ready. But that's false. It works for him. All those punches, he's now pressuring guys, and his confidence is raising more and more, and that only makes him more dangerous.
Cormier further reinforced the narrative of Paddy Pimblett's dominance, pointing out that throughout the bout, Pimblett maintained control in nearly every exchange. According to Cormier, it was a one-sided display inside the octagon, where Chandler struggled to create any meaningful momentum or impose his usual game plan.
He was able to take Chandler down, he was able to beat him up in the grappling, and he honestly won the striking against Michael Chandler. I find it hard to find moments where Michael had much success in that fight. And that said, we spoke about not being able to lose to the next generation of guy. Not only did he lose to the next generation of guy, he got dominated by the next generation of guy.
In response to the skepticism surrounding his skill, Paddy Pimblett addressed the ongoing doubt surrounding his abilities, stating that while critics are free to say what they want and underestimate him, the narrative shifts the moment the cage door shuts. It's in those moments, he emphasized, that people begin to witness his true level and still struggle to grasp just how skilled he really is.
For Charles, but when that cage door shuts, I'll put a beating on him. And as I say again, people can underestimate me all they want. People can say that I'm not this and I'm not that, but when the cage door locks, people just don't understand how good I am. If you had no chin, but I've got a fucking hell of a chin and no one's cracking it.
Building on this, Paddy Pimblett added that by the end of the first round, Michael Chandler realized he wasn't going to be able to beat him. Despite that, Chandler still came out in the following rounds, with the intent to finish, showing his grit and tenacity.
No one turn up like Michael Chandler, because he turns up, and even though he knew, I think after the first round he knew I was going to beat him, he still come out and tried to finish me. But he couldn't, you know what I mean? Just like nobody in this lightweight division can, none of yous. I'm gonna kill every one of yous.
Meanwhile, outside of the octagon, Joe Rogan, along with many others in attendance, appeared to thoroughly enjoy Paddy Pimblett's walkout at UFC 314.
did tonight.
I love his post-fight speeches too. He's just all the haters. He gives them more fuel. What are you going to say now? He's so fun. He's so fun. He had people. Diego Lopez was doing it when he was coming out. It's so addictive.
What is
It's
happening?
like the Trump dance. It's his version of the Trump dance.
Following the fight, Rogan praised Paddy Pimblett's skill set, highlighting that dominating someone like Michael Chandler on the ground is no small feat. Rogan found Paddy Pimblett's name-calling directed at other fighters to be both cheeky and entertaining, noting that his playful jabs added spice to the post-fight atmosphere. It was the kind of banter that kept fans engaged and reinforced Paddy's reputation as one of the most charismatic figures on the roster.
But it's effective, and his ground game is absolutely elite.
Ground game is sick.
Elite ground and pound, elite control, the takedowns. Dominating Michael Chandler like that on the ground is something special.
And then gets out of mic and calls Arman Tsarukyan a helmet.
What is a helmet?
You gave him the microphone.
Oh my goodness.
You never give the mic.
I'll give it to him. Take that mic.
Building on his post-fight bravado with cold confidence and a hint of cheek, Paddy Pimblett declared that he should be the one to welcome Ilia Topuria to the 155-pound division, calling Topuria out and positioning himself as the rightful gatekeeper for Topuria's lightweight debut.
His attention.
I should have Ilia's attention, shouldn't I, El Chirito? You know what I mean?
You got a message for him?
I think now he should know I'm the real deal, you know what I mean? People still underestimate me, but I beat rank 15, got in the rankings, just beat rank 7. Now I'm rank 7 in the rankings. 7 fight win streak in the UFC, rank 7. Give me anyone. Ilia, I said I should be the one to welcome you to 155. We can do it now, buddy.
Speaking of call-outs, Pimblett didn't hold back in addressing Conor McGregor, aiming the Irishman for betting against him and siding with Michael Chandler. The jab wasn't just about predictions, it was a pointed response to what Paddy saw as a lack of support from someone he expected to back a fellow countryman of shared roots.
The fight I'm interested in, Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Gonna go with Michael Chandler to win, and win by KO. Paddy's improved in his last few outings. I still fancy Chandler to do it. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd go against me, like, to be honest. I thought he'd back me, not back Chandler.
Following up on his criticism, Paddy Pimblett remarked that by putting money on Chandler, Conor McGregor showed where his loyalty stood. In Paddy's eyes, McGregor was supposed to back him, but chose not to, and that didn't go unnoticed.
But as I say, anyone can get it. All the names I mentioned. And even McGregor putting money on Chandler to win, lad. Like, the Irish Scouse connection, lad, he's meant to back me, and he never. So if he wants it, he'll get muftied as well.
That surprised you?
Yeah, I didn't think he'd go against me, like, to be honest. I thought he'd back me, lad. Not back Chandler, but one of them, innit?
Continuing with his bold confidence, Paddy stated that after these comments, he'll school Conor just like he did to Chandler.
Conor McGregor, before the fight, put a $500,000 bet on Michael Chandler.
Cheeky bastard, cheeky little bastard.
I thought he was supposed to back you.
Exactly, you know what I mean? Irish Scouts meant to back each other. I didn't expect that from Conor, lad. If you want to come back, Con, I'm here, son. I'm waiting. I'll mufti you just like I've just muftied Chandler.
Building on the growing praise, Michael Bisping stated that Paddy Pimblett not only dominated, but also proved countless doubters wrong. More importantly, Bisping noted Paddy proved to himself that he can back up everything he says. Admitting he was left in shock by the performance, Bisping acknowledged that Pimblett delivered far beyond expectations on the biggest stage of his career so far.
Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. He was unreal. It was incredible. I was actually left in shock. That performance was insane, right? It was the toughest test of his career. He had to prove to the world that he could back up all the talk that he's had, all the bravado, all the arrogance, you might call it, all of the confidence that he's talked about since day one. When it came time to put up or shut up, he passed the test with flying colours. Mount, he had every single position under the sun, and he looked like he was still only in second gear, okay? When I say that that was an impressive performance by Paddy Pimblett, I'm telling you, that's an understatement. He just went out there and absolutely destroyed Michael Chandler.
Moving on, shifting focus to Paddy's future, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson weighed in on Paddy Pimblett's potential, stating that with more time and continued growth, Paddy has what it takes to become a champion in the division.
No, Paddy's not even breathing hard. Like I said, guys, I think if you give Paddy 3 more years and he gets his striking even more cleaner, there's no reason why he can't be a world champion at 155. He's 30 years old. Give him 3 more years. As long as he stays healthy, I can see him being a champion. Damn.
Building on that, he emphasized that the tools are there. It's just a matter of development and timing.
Be champion. If he He takes his time, works on his stand-up. He's got great ground. He's very well conditioned. Didn't even work hard in that fight. All it takes to be a champion is to get to the right path to the title. Yeah, great fight by Paddy, man. He looked great. Looked phenomenal.
Further elaborating on Paddy's abilities, Johnson believes Paddy Pimblett has the potential to become a champion largely due to his well-rounded skill set. He highlighted Paddy's ability to perform effectively in striking and the stand-up game while also excelling on the ground, an area where he's consistently shown a high level of control and submission threat. Mighty further adds that Michael does not make use of the opportunities he is presented with.
That I believe this man could be the champion one day. The reason why I say that is that he can pretty much do it all. He doesn't have the cleanest striking, but either is Dricus du Plessis. People have a hard time dealing with him on the feet, especially on the ground. Now, Michael Chandler has not had the best career in the UFC, meaning that he gets to these opportunities to win big fights and he comes up short. The last time Michael Chandler won a fight was against Tony Ferguson, and by that time, Tony Ferguson was not the boogeyman. He was a shell of himself.
Echoing that, Paddy sees it and shares a similar sentiment. He claims that everyone wants a piece of him, and the next time he steps into the octagon, it will be for the title.
Paddy show.
Yeah, wherever I land, lad, I take over. You know what I mean? Everyone loves a bit of the baddie, lad. Everyone loves the baddie, and whatever show I fight on, lad, I take over, and we all know that. I will be in a pay-per-view main event the next time I fight, definitely. You know what I mean? That was the people's main event, me and Chandler, and I think it dominated from start to finish, to be honest.
Building on that, Dana White pointed out that despite constant underestimation and people counting him out, Paddy Pimblett continues to improve every time he steps into the octagon. He stated that Paddy addressed doubts about his performance.
Paddy Pimblett showed tonight that he is the real deal. Beating Michael Chandler and beating him the way that he did, I don't know how you can doubt the kid anymore.
Taking it a step further, Dana emphasized that Paddy has raised his level, and from now on, all his fights will be against top-ranked opponents.
Tonight was a pretty big name opponent too. But yeah, he's in that spot now where he's going to be fighting top guys. Yeah.
Similarly, Chael Sonnen took note of all the callouts by Paddy, stating that whoever accepts would be fighting Pimblett next. He also believes that no one will accept the callout.
This is the best Paddy has ever looked, and we don't know who Paddy's going to have next. But one thing that we all can agree, right? And here, let me back up a minute. The mushrooms and the helmets that he called out Dustin, he called out Justin, he called out Armin, and he called out Charles. And if any one of them accepts the call out, that'll be the fight. But I don't think any one of them will accept the call out.
Moreover, Sonnen suggested that Paddy Pimblett might be using the early stages of his fights to feel out his opponents, noting a pattern where Paddy often loses the first round.
Numbers wise, he's undefeated, batting 100%. That looks pretty impressive. But there's another number, which is those rounds, and all of a sudden, you got a 60-40 guy. That might be a positive. Perhaps Paddy the Baddie feels people out. He often in fights loses the first round. He lost the first round tonight. But in the Jared Gordon fight, people thought he lost 2 rounds. Some people thought he lost 3 rounds.
In particular, Sonnen pointed out that this has happened in several of his past bouts, including his most recent matchup against Michael Chandler, where Paddy dropped the opening round before turning the tide.
In previous fights, he's lost first rounds. He lost a first round tonight. And I'm sharing with you, is he a deep down competitor that can dig deep, and he brings a pace, he brings an intangible that we're not quite able to see, because he's not more dynamic. He's not like a confusing fighter with a confusing skill set. He's not this wildly fast guy, but a lot of these guys have something that's an intangible that you cannot see from your living room. You can't see it through television. You got to be in there with them. They bring a strength, they bring a grit, they bring a pace, they bring something that we miss. Perhaps he has.
In line with his dominant performance, MMA Guru came close with his pre-fight prediction, having forecasted a second-round TKO for Paddy Pimblett. While the finish ultimately came in the third, the outcome still aligned with his expectation of a dominant stoppage.
I said Paddy Pimblett by TKO. I said round 2, he'll land a knee on Chandler, hurt him bad, get him to the ground, and beat the shit out of him by TKO. It happened in round 3. I said he would outstrike Chandler. Some scary moments early where Chandler's swinging at him, but he's going to outstrike Chandler in TKO.
Moreover, MMA Guru reflected on the pre-fight skepticism, recalling how many questioned Paddy Pimblett's ability to finish Michael Chandler, especially considering that elite names like Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje couldn't put him away.
A lot of people use the argument, if Oliveira couldn't finish him, how do you think Paddy's... This ain't Charles Oliveira. This is Paddy Pimblett. You know? Gaethje couldn't finish Chandler. What makes you think Paddy Pimblett's going to do it? This ain't Justin Gaethje. Okay? Chandler won he's winning round 1 for 4 minutes against Poirier and then dominated round 2. This isn't Dustin Poirier. This is Paddy Pimblett.
In addition, MMA Guru noted that Paddy Pimblett's performance was so dominant that he made Michael Chandler look like an easy opponent. The way Paddy controlled the fight, dictated the pace, and neutralized Chandler's offense gave the impression of a mismatch.
Paddy Pimblett dominates Michael Chandler and makes him look easy. And I've seen a lot of comments saying he only fights 40-year-olds. Like, Chandler hasn't been a common opponent for Oliveira, Poirier, and Gaethje over the last fucking 5 years. You know? You know, Chandler only does this. Chandler's washed. Now Chandler's washed. 4 months ago, he took Charles Oliveira to a decision. Won the 5th round. Landed back at the headshots, I understand, but won the 5th round and made the 1st round.
Building on that, Ariel Helwani believes this matchup was the ideal opportunity for Paddy Pimblett to take the next step in his career. He emphasized that Paddy didn't just seize the moment. He made a clear statement by delivering a dominant win over Michael Chandler, signaling his arrival as a true contender in the division.
Like, we've always known that he's been really good. Has he had some, you know, some near falls? Has he lost? Yes. But this felt like the perfect fight to allow him to take that next step, and he has taken that next step with an incredible win, a vicious win over Michael Chandler. And honestly, PT, you know, we talk about them looking for a superstar. He's right there in front of them. I think he's 1 win away from fighting for the belt as a result of tonight.
Furthermore, Helwani added that Justin Gaethje should be Paddy's next opponent so he can solidify his shot at the title.
All I'm trying to say is take that Justin Gaethje fight. This version of Paddy Pimblett beats Justin Gaethje.
I know.
Does anyone disagree? Take that Gaethje fight and stamp your ticket to a title shot. The Armin fight is a lot tougher. I'm not saying he can't win that fight, but Armin right now is way tougher in my opinion than Justin Gaethje. And they showed Gaethje. Look, the call out was perfect. He listed everyone, and then he picked the one he wanted most, and he picked the one that's the biggest star, who's still very much.
Meanwhile, True Geordie weighed in on UFC 314, stating that Paddy Pimblett is the real story of the event. He added that although fans had long been aware of Paddy's talent on the microphone and his ability to command attention, there were some lingering questions about whether his fighting skills could match the hype.
Paddy is the real story here. You know, we always knew he had star quality on the microphone, but there was slight doubts there about his fighting ability. Not necessarily like, is he a good fighter, but can he be the very, very best? We're looking at his stand-up, we're thinking, you know, is this chin in the air? Could he be more fluid? His ground game has always been lethal, but that is a lot of distance for him.
Acknowledging Paddy's dedication, Geordie recognized the hard work put in by the fighter and praised his performance inside the ring against such a level of adversity.
He went through a really bad spell where a lot of people went from loving him to hating him. I know how that feels, right? It's not fucking easy, but he's clearly been putting the work in, because this was without doubt the best performance of Paddy Pimblett's fucking career.
Expanding on Paddy's mindset, Geordie pointed out that while many people had their doubts about him, Paddy himself never did. Having met him even before he signed with the UFC, Geordie spoke about the fighter's mindset and unwavering self-belief. From early on, Paddy carried the conviction that he was destined to become a major star in the sport, and now that vision is beginning to unfold exactly as he predicted.
You know what I can tell you? Like, yeah, the fans, we were unsure at times, you know, we maybe had our doubts. Paddy never did. I met Paddy before he was signed by the UFC, and the level of like self-belief and confidence that he was going all the way, he was like, I'm going to be massive, mate. You just trust me on this.
Paddy Pimblett's star power is rising fast, and after dismantling Michael Chandler at UFC 314, the hype is finally backed by undeniable substance. With top contenders now in his sights, the Scouser's climb to the top has only just begun. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth UFC coverage and fighter insights.